Hi everyone! In this video we're going to go through the next step in close reading, which is annotating and annolighting. Now we've already learned that when you annotate, you take notes directly in the text. And with annolighting, the idea is related. You shine a light on the most important things in a text by using different color highlighters. Now, you can pick whichever color highlighter you want to represent whatever idea that you want, but when we're first getting started with annolighting, we're all going to use the same color highlighter to mean the same thing. We're going to use blue to identify the key words and the phrases. We're going to use a yellow to identify the central or a main idea of the text. And we're going to use a pink highlighter to identify some of the supporting details that connect up with that yellow, that central or main idea. Now, the first step with annolighting is very similar to the second step of close reading. You're going to take your blue highlighter and you're going to identify all the key words and phrases in the text. If you want to, you can circle the key word and highlight the key phrase if you want to be able to tell your key word and phrase apart from each other. Now, if you're using your own highlighters, you could go ahead and take out a green or an orange highlighter to highlight your keyword as well. If you're going to use Miss Bierman's highlighters, though, go ahead and just use your blue one, draw a circle around the keyword, and highlight the key phrase that hooks up with that word. Go ahead and do that now. The second step of annolighting is very similar to how we got started with annotating. Before we read, we need to set a purpose for our reading and annolighting. If we don't have a reason for highlighting in the text, our highlights aren't going to help us get a 3 out of 4 whenever we are writing a response. In fact, if we don't have a purpose, all of the different colors of highlighters are just going to be really confusing, and it's going to look like a rainbow threw up. It's not going to be helpful for you in order to get a 3 out of 4. So, just like with annotating, we need to set a purpose. We're going to ask ourselves a question. We might ask ourselves what information or ideas are presented. We might ask ourselves, what do we learn about the topic? We might say, how do the ideas relate? With the first paragraph, though, it's usually really great just to ask ourselves, well, what is this paragraph about? What is this text going to be about? So I ask myself, what is this text going to be about? And I start reading. About the wolves and moose of the Isle Royale Project Overview. Isle Royale is a remote wilderness island isolated by the frigid waters of Lake Superior and home to populations of wolves and moose. As predator and prey, their lives and deaths are linked in a drama that is timeless and historic. Their lives are historic because we have been documenting their lives for more than 5 decades. This research project is the longest continuous study of any predator-prey system in the world. So I asked myself, well, what is this text mainly about? And it seems to me that this text is mainly going to be about the wolves and moose of the Isle Royale Project. And I learned that Isle Royale is a remote island, and I also learned that the Isle Royale Project is the longest continuous study of any predator-prey system in the world. Now, the fact that this is a really long-running study about wolves and moose on this island, that seems to me like it's going to be the central idea and all about the wolves. So I'm going to take my yellow highlighter, which stands for the central or main idea, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. The Isle Royale Project is a research project that's the longest study of predator and prey.